time, Walter has really been a tireless champion for Hawaiian rights, the rights of communities, the rights of the water, the rights of the land, and not only on Molokai, but really all across the state of Hawaii. Walter is an educator, and for the last 7 years or so, he has tirelessly campaigned across the state for the protection and preservation of Haloa Kekalo, the Hawaiian taro. So mahalo, Walter, to you and your ohana, because many, many times you have come to the aid of all of us, and really your dedication to this has really helped to change the course of history. So please, a warm welcome for Walter Ritte from Hawaii.
You know, this week has been like, sometimes your weeks go like this, and then sometimes it goes like this. This week it has just been going like this. And tonight it's like, wow, I couldn't believe my eyes when I came in here. I had to ask myself, wow, what's happening on Kauai, We don't have a room, on Molokai is just like this section would fit in our biggest room. And this is like, wow, and this has been happening all week. Beyond expectation, what has been happening. If any of you try to sneak onto the island of Molokai, good luck, okay? Because you cannot come in our airport without everybody on the island knowing who came on our island. The only corporation that was successful in sneaking onto our island of Molokai was Monsanto. Monsanto. That tells you that these guys are sneaky experts. Sneaky, because they were there a good 4 to 5 years before we even know or knew that they were there. I mean, it was like, wow, they're scary. So the first thing we did was to find out, who are these guys? And then we went onto this magic thing called computer and this thing called Google. Wow, you should try that and Google these guys, Monsanto. You're gonna blow your mind. These guys are bad guys. We had bad guys on our farmlands. Bad guys. The trail that they left behind, of all the places that they've been, we were really, really scared about what was gonna happen to our island. So what is happening to Molokai is happening to Kauai, big time. I came early. We took the early flight, got up about 4 o'clock this morning so that we get all our family together and come to Kauai because we needed to go and look what was happening to see if it was the same thing happening here as it was happening on Molokai. And sure enough, we went down to Hanapepe, and the first place we stopped was at the salt pond. And we looked at the salt pond, and if you look from the ocean and you look above the salt ponds, you're gonna see the fields that they're growing up there, all of the GMO fields. And any fool knows what happens to farmers up in the fields, especially when they leave the lands bare, which is what they're doing on Molokai also, that everything goes downhill. People there were telling us stories about great die-offs of our sea urchins in that area out in the ocean. And we talked to some of the people that were living there. On the island of Molokai, we are fiercely protective of our natural resources because that is the way that we survive on the island of Molokai. We know that we have 2 ways of surviving. We have 2 economies on our island. One is a cash economy, and the other is a subsistence economy. And we need both of them to survive. Most of the islands have lost one of their economies, and they have been left with just the cash economy. So we fiercely protect the environment because that's how we feed our family. 33% of everything that we eat comes from our natural resources on Molokai. The skills that allow us to harvest these resources and feed our families are traditional skills. Monsanto and these chemical companies are the most destructive thing that is happening on all of our islands today. It is the number one problem that we have as people who are trying to survive in Hawaii today. It is the worst problem that we have right now. Hawaiians kept asking me, why are you getting involved in GMOs? We have sovereignty to take care of. We have our rights to protect. We have to enhance these things. Why are you wasting your time on GMOs? It's like if we are not going to learn how to feed ourselves, we can never ever be independent, self-sufficient, and sovereign. Never, never. I got involved in politics this year big time because I was at the legislature last year and two things happened to me. One, we went there to say to them we wanted to have a hearing to let you know of the impacts of GMOs on our children. We wanted to let you know of the impacts of GMO on our lands and on our reefs and on our water and of our air and even into the forests. And this is what happened. They put the kapu sticks up. They wouldn't even allow us to have a hearing. We couldn't even say one single word to this body that we elected. The state capitol shut their doors on us. And that was a horrible, horrible feeling. We tried to talk as loud as we could. We were yelling from the rotunda. Uncle Jerry was there. We were trying to tell our story even though they shut all the doors on us. We were yelling, Calvin, say. We were yelling everybody's names, hear our bill, and nothing worked. We couldn't get anywhere. So I hung around. And what I saw was a war on our environment. These elected officials have joined the corporations and they have declared war on our environment. So if these people are declaring war on us, we need to react. What you have done here tonight is the reverberations of this room being filled like this. It's gonna go out there, and it's gonna impact all kinds of things, including politics. And it's like, if we just come here and we enjoy the evening, I'm enjoying you guys, and I hope you guys are enjoying all of the knowledge that you're gonna get tonight. And you go home and you get to a super high and you're all excited and everything, and then you forget everything. Hawaiians call that poho. It's my job tonight to try and instill upon you that no matter how many times you actually come together and listen to each other talk is not just going to solve our problems. We need to try and get you to really participate, to react, and to understand that politics has joined the corporations and declared war on our environment, and if we don't do anything, we're going to lose, because the environment had become so profitable, and they have used so much of it already that they're going to do anything to take the rest of it. We need all of you to participate in government. We are going to pass a labeling bill in the state of Hawaii this year. and the leadership is going to come from this island. The other big issue that we presented that day was called the PLDC. Who knows what the PLDC is? Oh, Gary Hoosier, you got some backers, Gary Hoosier. He's going to take the lead. He has the knowledge of the inside information on how all of this came together. He's going to take the statewide lead on this. We need to back him up and follow him on that issue. Two of the major issues coming out of Hawaii today is coming from this island, the island of Kauai, right now. So you guys, coming into this room, you are going to get information that most people will not have. It's going to be your job to take that information and spread that information. It's going to be your job to make sure you influence that state capital. You have to influence that state capital because things have happened there. The leadership has changed. The House leadership has flipped. That's right. The House leadership has flipped. The House leadership has flipped. That House leadership has been the roadblock. That's why they put the blocks up and we couldn't even get a hearing. It was because of that. And it's gone. So the doors are open for us to come in. I wanted to talk just about, this group over here. You guys are the foundation for Kauai right now. You got all the information. You got the energy. You got the unity right now. You know who to look for. You know what to watch for so that people can tell you when you're going to act. Because if we act all over the place, it's not going to work. You need to go in unison. In unison. I'd like to add, another layer, another foundation layer, and that is the Hawaiian foundation. When we did our march yesterday, it was really, really important to lay that foundation down so that when we came to our politicians, we were on solid ground. And that foundation was the Hawaiian foundation. That is a very, very important foundation. We were celebrating the 120th year of the overthrow of this kingdom. And that overthrow needs to become pono. It needs to be corrected. Once that is corrected, that's going to be a foundation that all of us is going to build on, and we are going to make a better Hawaii. So support that foundation. Support that foundation. There's a really great suspect and maybe even fear about that foundation, that if that foundation is successful, if we correct the wrongs that were done, and if we make everything pono and legal again, that's how it should be in Hawaii, that the changes are going to be negative. That is a false view that has been perpetuated in order to keep us where we are today. That is a false view. I'd like to give just a small little story to emphasize that point. When we first started out as young Hawaiians, we wanted to go hunting, we wanted to go fishing. They put up gates and they put up fences that we couldn't go here, we couldn't go there on Molokai. They cut off our access. So without access, we couldn't feed our families. So we had no public rights to go anywhere. So we depended on our Hawaiian rights. As Hawaiians have different rights than the general public. There's different rights. And those rights were handed down from generation after generation after. They were never extinguished. So we used the most powerful rules and rights that we could find in order to gain that access. And people were looking at us going, what do you mean you guys got Hawaiian rights? You ain't got no Hawaiian rights. And we used it so successfully that we gained access to the places that the ranch was blocking and locking all of those years. Now here's the Kauna, here's the deep part of the story. The people that were criticizing us were many of the plantation leaders. And they were good people. You know, they were like Boy Scout leaders and community people. And they didn't understand what we were doing. So after we were successful, my heart was really warm because when Elmer Carvalho, who was the mayor at that time, came to Molokai to open the gates and make a big political deal out of all of it, people lined up. All the cars were lined up because they were going to open the gates in order to go down. And the first car that was lining up at the gate early in the morning was this one Cub Scout master, and his truck was all full of his scouts. And it was a guy that was yelling at us the most about the dangers of Hawaiians having Hawaiian rights. And he and his scouts were the first people to benefit from the use of our rights. And that's the story, I think, that overall story that negates this whole picture. And it's the reality of if you build your foundation of how we're going to protect our environment on the most powerful laws that we have in the state, then those are the things that we got to do and support the Hawaiian laws and build that Hawaiian foundation so that all of us who care about this place, all of us who live in the beautiful island of Kauai, all of us who are environmentalists, all of us who love the environment, who has aloha aina, we are going to be successful if we all join together and rise together in unity. And that has been our story that we were telling at the Capitol. And this is a story that I want to tell you here tonight, that the Hawaiians rising up is not just going to be the Hawaiians rising up. It's going to be all of us rising up together because we all have that same aloha aina and love for our environment, for our future generations. So, I just want to end by having a really good look at everybody out there and let all of your mana flow into me. And it's a really, you guys should be standing up here and looking. It's just such a great feeling to see all of you here tonight. And I know because all of you have the same mana'o that is in my punawai, in my na'au, that we all are here because we love our environment, we love our island, and we are going to protect it come hell or high water. Yeah.